Hey guys, it's Faye from Solar Flow, and I am back with another video. So I felt called to do this video and I want to first explain why I felt called to do this video today, because it actually pertains to the topic of the video. So right now there's a lot of Cancerian energy in the air. We just had last night a new moon in Cancer. The sun is also in Cancer, and Cancer is the astrological sign that is ruled by the moon. The moon is a very feminine and nurturing sign. Now you take that combined with the fact that Cancer, the astrological sign, is the symbol of it is the crab. If you think about a hermit crab carries its home with it. It's always wanting to be protected. It's always wanting to stay connected to its home and be in a protected environment, which also, again, very much connects to the sign of Cancer. It's a nurturing, feminine, homebound, security, emotional security seeking sign. So I felt called, since we're talking about all of this feminine energy, to talk about, I don't know if I can say the name of it, but something notable that happened last week with the Supreme Court, and it had overturned something that had been in effect for 50 or so years. Now, first things first, this is not a political video. This has nothing to do with politics. This is not a discussion about being in favor of or being against. This is just to take a look behind the veil of the energies of this particular event that, first of all, happened 50 years ago and what happened last week in 2022. So please do not comment below making an argument for or against. If you think this is going to be a triggering video for you, I invite you to please turn it off and go engage in serious self-care. No one is judging you if you have had an abortion. If you want to talk about that, this is not the place to do it. Not because we don't love you and care about you, but because this is not a video about that. This is a video about the energy behind the veil. So, having said that, having that in mind, I'm gonna dive in. And for those of you that are new, or if you've not watched my videos from the past, the way that the information comes in is I will sit down, I will meditate, and sometimes I will have like a specific topic that I want to discuss, or maybe a specific location. Like I'll sit down with the intention, like I had channeled New York, and I'll say I want to see the energy behind the veil of New York, and that's what comes in. Sometimes I'll sit down and whatever is in the ethers and meant for me to pick up on will come in. But I very specifically sat down and channeled this because it was something that was so notable going on, and I felt like I wanted to get a look of what was the energy behind it. So I sat down to tap into the energy, and the way that it comes in is also very neutral. Because it's coming in from the ethers, or it's coming in from my guides, or it's coming in from source. There is no agenda behind any of the information that comes in. I'm not here to convince anybody of anything. I am just here to share. So please, if it doesn't resonate with you, leave it. The message is not for you. If it does, fantastic. So when I sat down and I was meditating, the way that it came in was that it is the most magnified or elevated or extreme version of self-harm. So the way that self-harm can manifest is in a number of different ways. Somebody can use self-depreciating language when they talk about themselves. They can engage in self-damaging behavior, things that are not aligned with their highest good, things that are going to hold them back, things that are going to hurt them energetically or spiritually. And then there's the actual form of self-harm. And people that engage in self-harm, it's something that's hidden, right? So you're not going to see somebody who is wearing short sleeves and their arms are all cut up. It's an act that is hidden. So again, think about the crab. Think about the hermit crab, wanting to feel safe, wanting not to feel exposed, but to feel emotionally safe. So they're going to do it in a place that is not frequently seen. So it could be like maybe on the inside of the thighs or something like that. This, how it was shown to me, was it is the most extreme form of self-harm because you're actually extracting a fetus out of your body. So it's the most hidden and the most extreme. And because of that, it also, the energy behind it is something that carries a lot of shame and a lot of guilt. And again, if that's not, if you have chosen to have this procedure done and that has not been your experience, this message is not for you. This is the way the information came in for me. But it is something that carries a lot of shame and a lot of guilt. Anything that is an action of shame or born out of shame is something already that is causing us to hide parts of ourselves. We don't want people to know about it. So this particular thing, what it does is it closes down the third eye. And this is the area where we, first of all, can connect to divinity. It's an area where we can actually connect telepathically, we can send out and we can receive information. And this act, because anyone who's had it done wants to hide it, they're shutting this down. So energetically, this was done in the ethers. This decision initially in the 1970s was because Earth was undergoing a huge energetic upgrade at that time. And the entities in the ethers, they don't want that. Because what do they live off of? If you've watched my New York video, they live off of something called loosh. Loosh is the energy that is created and released by people on the planet. That's their fuel. So if you are having something happen globally, or at least centralized in the United States, it's creating a lot of loosh for them. That's number one. A lot of guilt and a lot of shame. Beautiful loosh for them. Second of all, it is shutting the person down in a psychic capacity. So now, one great way to make sure that the Earth can't ascend energetically is to affect the inhabitants on it. So it's creating loosh, it's shutting down the inhabitants on it. Now these women are carrying shame and guilt around with them. They have shut down. They've shut down telepathically, and they have shut down on some level even energetically, because here's the other thing. Women are portals because we bring spirits into physical form. So we are portals onto Earth of a physical dimension. So because Earth was starting to ascend at that time, all of the beings that were lining up to incarnate were at a very high energetic level. That had to be stopped, or it can't be stopped in its entirety, but they wanted to slow it down. So, great way to slow it down. You have this thing happen in the United States that allows on a federal level this other thing to happen. And now it's subverted the ascension of the planet for the reasons that I just said. You have the release of loosh, you have these people that are shutting themselves down, which is slowing their ascension, and they have shut down the portals that are bringing in these higher vibrational beings. Now, if anybody has ever gone to a chiropractor, what they do what the chiropractor does is they are fixing a subluxation. What a subluxation is where a nerve is not in alignment with where it is supposed to be, so that it can best transmit and receive information from the brain. So it slows down the way that the body is functioning. So it's not functioning in an optimum level. Energetically, when this happened, it created like a energetic subluxation in the way the world was operating, which was supposed to be starting to ascend at that time. So this thing happened in the 1970s. It created an energetic subluxation. What happened in 2022 is a righting of that subluxation. So basically, what it's doing is, let's say energetically there was a cut in the fabric of the world, and this has brought these things back into alignment. If anyone who's watching this is aware of something called Kundalini, we all have Kundalini in our body. Kundalini, the way that it's best to look at it is, imagine a snake coiled up and it's resting, let's say, in the bellies of people. It's laying dormant, it's asleep. And through various methods, we can raise our Kundalini, which is a rising of the energy in our body, and it's a rising of our vibration as well. So when this thing happened, it severed the ability for Earth's Kundalini to rise. It was subverting Earth's ascension and the people on it. So this has righted that. So now the Kundalini can start to rise again. Even if you look at it from the perspective of not the individual people, but if you look at it from the perspective of Earth itself, we call Earth Mother Earth, Mother Gaia. She is the bringer of life onto the planet. Not necessarily with us, but if you go outside, there is life all around you. There's trees, there's the ocean. That is because of Mother Gaia. And she has not been in her energetic alignment for about 50 some odd years. That has also caused energetic reverberations. Now, when I was looking at this, the way that it was starting to come in was, if you think about a flower, very apropos to Mother Gaia, it's where nature blooms. And when nature blooms, it comes down from the ground and up and out. So it's almost like the opposite of the hermit crab. It's not taking things in, it is releasing it. And the fact that it is above ground now and it is released into the world is allowing the divinity to come back in. Now, how it was shown was a reverse, where it was not blooming out into the world, but it was blooming down into the ground and under in a hidden way. Again, very Cancerian, very hidden, very wanting to feel safe and wanting to feel protected. But that again is a subversion of the energy, because what happens is it creates an imbalance into the way that things are operating. So now things are not given the opportunity to receive the divinity. So what starts to happen is things are reversed. So what does that mean? Women start to become more masculine and men start to become more effeminate. It's the rise of what you would call a soy boy. No judging, we love our soy boys here. If you're a soy boy, you are welcome here. This is not a judgment about soy boys. But soy boy is also what you would actually refer to as a beta. It's a man that is not living in connected to his divine masculine, but it is a man that is out of alignment energetically. He's a more effeminate version of a man. That then has energetic reverberations that impact the way life is being expressed on the planet. So then what you have is one way that the soy boy comes in is through this energetic misalignment. The other way is with the actual physical production and consumption of soy-based products. So it's now the portal for women's reproduction to come in is shut down. The portal also for the animals' reproduction to come in is also being subverted. So things are not coming in from a biological way, it's coming in an artificial way. So you have the rise of artificial meat. You also have the rise of artificial intelligence. So all of this has caused this imbalance, where in the last few years you have seen the rise of soy-based products, the rise of AI. And it's because the natural way that for thousands of years things had come onto Earth had been subverted. It was an energetic subluxation of life. Whether you agree with it or not, what happened in 2022, it is a correction of the energetic imbalance that has happened for the last 50 some odd years. So this is righting an energetic wrong. Now, I also did receive a message when I was channeling today that was specific to share for women that either have had a miscarriage or have had an abortion. If you have had, and you do have, if you are carrying any sort of feelings about it with you, the information that came in was to release you of the heaviness to it. The reason for that is, if you think about, for example, what it means to have ripples. So ripples are every action that somebody has on Earth will create a ripple around them. It's not necessarily negative. It can be positive. Our good deeds have positive ripples, and not such good deeds will maybe have not such good ripples. But every action creates a ripple. So the mere fact that people choose to come into Earth means they are signing up for multiple incarnations, because all of our actions are creating ripples that we then need to come back in a follow-up life, and we need to set right whatever has been set into motion by that ripple. So if you think about it, I'm gonna just go for like the most extreme example here. So please do not think you're a horrible person if this has happened in a previous life, which you wouldn't even know because your memory has been wiped because it's Earth and it's dense. We'll talk about that in another video. But I'm just gonna go for the biggest example because it creates the best example. Let's say in a previous life, you were killed. There's a lot of ripples, energetic reverberations that come down from that. So the way that you, let's say, would get to right that is to kill the person. Again, I'm going for the biggest example here. Please take it or leave it. But it's where you would kill the person in this lifetime. But because we have now righted the wrong that happened energetically, the energetic subluxation from the 70s, we are given an opportunity to revisit that issue from a more ascended perspective, where it's not like now in this lifetime you would kill that person to right the wrong, but it is where they have not fully come in. So for example, one way that would happen is if a woman would suffer a miscarriage, the right, that what had happened in a previous life has now been wiped clean. The ripples of that are gone. And they were not having to be killed to right the wrong. Another way that that can come through is if there was a lot of heavy attachment to the instance that had happened in a previous life, where the person maybe felt like it wasn't enough to lose the life to rebalance it. They needed to feel an active participation in it. They had the opportunity to abort the fetus instead. So it is still writing that reverberation from a previous lifetime. And again, it is wiped clean. The slate is clean and clear. You no longer have the karma, for lack of a better word, that needs to be worked out from that lifetime. You have a clean slate for that one deed. If you stole someone's horse or you stole a loaf of bread in a previous lifetime, you still have to work that out. But this specific instance, the slate is clean. So please, if you are carrying any heavy energy associated with it, please let it go. This is to help humanity ascend at this point, because the timelines are speeding up. Ascension is happening, whether we're ready or not. And the way it's coming in is saying, you know, like if a child is playing hide and seek, when they're done counting to 10, ready or not, they're coming for you. Ready or not, we are ascending at this time. So we are given opportunities to wipe the slate in a much faster level than before. So please, if you have been carrying any heavy energy associated with it, there is a rebalancing going on Earth right now. And that started with what happened last week. And it is, if you have suffered a miscarriage or if you have had an abortion done, that was your way to also wipe the slate clean. You are, please don't carry that with you. You are energetically clear with that. So once again, I hope that you have enjoyed this video. If it has resonated with you, great, I'm happy. If not, please leave it. The message was not meant for you. And again, if you've enjoyed this video, please like, share it with someone that you think might enjoy it, subscribe, because I am on a roll, baby. I am here to share videos, taking a peek behind the veil. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay in the high vibe, baby.